wishes to sleep. Get comfortable, settle in, and close your eyes. There's no pressure, no need to keep score. You can feel free to put your device down, as this quiz is designed purely for listening. This is just a gentle quiz to help quiet your mind and guide you toward rest. Tonight's topic is cosmos and space. Let's begin. What is the closest planet to the sun? Mercury. Question 2. What is the name of the galaxy we live in? The Milky Way. Question 3. What is the largest planet in our solar system? Jupiter. How many planets are there in our solar system? What is the name of the planet often called the red planet? Mars. Who was the first person to walk on the moon? Neil Armstrong. What is the hottest planet in our solar system? Venus. What is the smallest planet in our solar system? Mercury. What is the name of the force that holds planets in orbit around the sun? Gravity. What is the great red spot on Jupiter? A giant storm. What is the name of Saturn's largest moon? Titan. Who was the first person to travel into space? Yuri Gagarin. What is the name of the dwarf planet that was once considered the ninth planet? Pluto. What is the name of NASA's famous space telescope launched in 1990? distance. What is a supernova? The explosion of a star besides the sun. What is the closest star to Earth? Proxima Centauri. What are comets mostly made of? Ice, rock, and dust. What was the name of the first artificial satellite launched into space? Sputnik. The main asteroid belt is located between which two planets? Mars and Jupiter. What event occurs when the moon passes between the sun and Earth? A solar eclipse. Which planet is best known for its large invisible ring system? Saturn. What is a region in space where gravity is so strong that not even light can escape? A black hole. What is the name of the brightest star in the night sky? Sirius. What was the name of the Apollo mission that first landed humans on the moon? Apollo 11. What is the name of the path one object takes around another in space? An orbit. What planet is furthest from the sun? Neptune. What is the name of Earth's natural satellite? The moon. What do we call a person who travels in space? An astronaut. Which planet is tilted on its side? Uranus. What is the center of our solar system? the Sun? What is the name of the United States Space Agency? NASA. What color is the planet Neptune? Blue. What do we call a large system of stars held together by gravity? A galaxy. Who was the second person to walk on the moon? Buzz Aldrin. How long does it take the Earth to orbit the Sun? One year. What do we call a piece of rock that burns up in Earth's atmosphere, also known as a shooting star? A meteor. What is a meteor called if it lands on Earth's surface? A meteorite. What is the name of the largest volcano in our solar system found on Mars? Olympus Mons. What is the name of the galaxy closest to our own, the Milky Way? The Andromeda Galaxy. What phenomenon caused by the moon makes the oceans rise and fall? Tides. What is the name of the constellation that contains the Big Dipper? Ursa Major. We call the 4 planets closest to the Sun. The inner planets. What do we call the 4 large planets farthest from the Sun? Outer planets. What is the name of the rover that landed on Mars in 2021? Perseverance. What are the dark, flat plains on the moon often called? Maria. How long does it take the Earth to spin one time on its axis? is the name of the Apollo 11 command module? Columbia. What was the name of the Apollo 11 lunar module that landed on the moon? The Eagle. What is the Oort cloud? A distant area of icy objects and comets. Who was the first woman to travel into space? Valentina Tereshkova. What was the name of the first animal to orbit the Earth? Laika. What is the name of the region of icy objects beyond Neptune? The Kuiper Belt. What is the natural light display seen in the sky at the poles? An aurora. What NASA spacecraft flew past Pluto in 2015? New Horizons. What is the largest moon in the entire solar system? Ganymede. What was the name of America's first space station? Skylab. Which planet has the fastest winds in the solar system? Neptune. What is the name of the only spacecraft to visit all 4 giant outer planets? Voyager 2. What is the most distant man-made object from Earth? Voyager 1. How many moons does the planet Mars have? Two. What do we call planets that orbit stars outside of our solar system? Exoplanets. What is a large cloud of gas and dust in space called? Nebula? Who was the first American to travel into space? Alan Shepard. What is the name of the large, habitable satellite orbiting Earth? The International Space Station. What was the name of the first reusable crewed spacecraft? The Space Shuttle. What is the name of the mission that landed the Curiosity rover on Mars? Mars Science Laboratory. What is a pulsar? A rotating neutron star. What is the hypothetical form of matter that does not interact with light? Dark matter. What is the name of the 2 moons of Mars? Phobos and Deimos. What is the approximate age of our sun? About 4.6 billion years. What is a full moon at its closest point to Earth called? A supermoon. What is an extremely bright and distant object powered by a black hole? A quasar. Who was the first American woman in space? Sally Ride. What is the name of the mysterious form of energy causing the accelerated expansion of the universe? Dark energy. What is the name of the new space telescope launched in 2021? The James Webb Space Telescope. What is the scientific study of the universe called? Astronomy. What is the name of Jupiter's moon that is covered in volcanoes? Io. What is the name of Jupiter's moon that is believed to have a liquid water ocean? Europa. What do we call the streak of light from a meteor? A shooting star. What is the name of the constellation known as the Hunter? Orion. What is the name of the star commonly called the North Star? Polaris. What causes the phases of the moon? The moon's orbit around the Earth. What is the boundary of a black hole called? The event horizon. What is the name of the first robotic probe to return samples from the moon? Luna 16. What is the name of the first human-made object to land on the moon? Luna 2. Who was the last person to walk on the moon? Gene Cernan. What is the brightest planet as seen from Earth? Venus. What is the name of the spacecraft used by SpaceX to fly astronauts? Crew Dragon. What is the name of the mission that landed the first probe on a comet? Rosetta. What is the name of the largest object in the asteroid belt? Ceres. What is the approximate speed of light? $186,000 per second. What is the name of the first spacecraft to orbit Jupiter? The Galileo spacecraft. What is the term for a perfect alignment of three celestial bodies? Syzygy. What is the tail of a comet made of? many stars are in our solar system? One. What is the wobble of the Earth on its axis called? Precession. What is the name of the first private company to send astronauts into orbit? SpaceX. What is the name of the nebula visible in the constellation Orion? The Orion Nebula. What type of galaxy is the Milky Way? A spiral galaxy. What is the name of the first rover to successfully land on Mars? Sojourner. What was the name of the first successful American satellite? Explorer 1. What do we call the point in a planet's orbit that is closest to the Sun? Perihelion. What do we call the point in a planet's orbit that is farthest from the Sun? Aphelion. What was the name of the spacecraft that orbited Saturn for 13 years? Cassini. What is the term for the wobble of the moon as it orbits Earth? Libration. What is the name of the largest known star by radius? Stevenson 218. What is the space between stars called? Interstellar space. What probe landed on Saturn's moon Titan in 2005? The Huygens probe. What is the name of the large gap between Saturn's main rings? The Cassini division. What are the two main gases that make up the Sun? Hydrogen and helium. What was the name of the first spacecraft to fly by Mars? Mariner 4. What is the name of the European Space Agency? ESA. What three stars make up the summer triangle? Altair, Deneb, and Vega. What was the name of the first spacecraft to travel through the asteroid belt? Pioneer 10. What is the name of the phenomenon where gravity bends light? Gravitational lensing. What is the name of NASA's program to return humans to the moon? Artemis. What is the name of the largest moon of Neptune? Triton. What is the name of the largest moon of Uranus? Titania. What is the scientific name for the sun's outer atmosphere? The corona. What was the name of the first private citizen to pay for a trip to space? Dennis Tito. What is the Big Bang? The theory of how the universe began. What is the name of the spacecraft to use an ion drive first? Deep Space 1. What is the name of the star that will become the North Star in the future? Vega. What is the name of the mission that first returned samples from an asteroid? Hayabusa. What is the name of the largest canyon in the solar system found on Mars? Vice Marineris. What is the coldest known place in the universe? The Boomerang Nebula. was the name of the first spacecraft to orbit Mercury? Messenger. Who was the first African American in space? Bluford. Who was the first British astronaut in space? Helen Sharman. What is the chemical that gives Mars its red color? Iron oxide. What is the term for the second full moon in a single calendar month? A blue moon. What was the name of the first space probe to successfully land on Venus? Venera 7. What diagram plots a star's brightness against its temperature? The Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. Who was the first Canadian in space? Mark Garneau. What is the faint glow of sunlight scattered by dust in the solar system? The zodiacal light. Who was the first Japanese person to fly in space? Toyohiro Akiyama. Who was the first Chinese astronaut in space? Yang Liwei. What is the name of the massive 1859 solar storm? The Carrington event. What is the theory of a cascading chain reaction of space debris? The Kessler syndrome. What is the name of the first spacecraft to orbit two different celestial bodies? The Dawn spacecraft. What is a neutron star with an extremely powerful magnetic field called? A magnetar. What two names, based on film characters, were given to the first CubeSats to visit Mars? Wall-E and EVE. sunsets on Mars. Blue. Which planet is less dense than water and would float? Saturn. The word astronaut comes from Greek words meaning what? Star Sailor. What is the name of the first spacecraft to successfully use a solar sail? Icaros. What is the Roche limit? The distance where a moon will be pulled apart by a planet's gravity. What is the faint, bright spot in the night sky at the anti-solar point? Gegenschein. What is the Alcubierre drive? A theoretical idea for faster than light travel. Who was the first person to perform a spacewalk? Alexei Leonov. What is the name of the NASA mission currently orbiting Jupiter? Juno. What is the name of the mission that collected samples from the asteroid Bennu? Osiris Rex. What do the letters SETI stand for? Search for extraterrestrial intelligence. What was the name of the large storm on Neptune discovered by Voyager 2? The Great Dark Spot. What is Saturn's moon Enceladus famous for spraying from its surface? Water ice. What is the name of the first probe to successfully land on Mars? Viking 1. What is the most common type of star in the Milky Way? Red dwarf. What do we call the cool dying core of a star like our sun? A white dwarf? What was the name of the long-lived Mars rover that went silent in 2018? Opportunity. What astronaut holds the record for the most total days spent in space? Oleg Kononenko. What is the name of the boundary where the sun's solar wind meets interstellar space? The heliopause. Which moon of Saturn is known for its strong resemblance to the Death Star? Mimas. What was the name of the first spacecraft to fly by Saturn? Pioneer 11. What is the glowing shell of gas around a dying sun-like star called? A planetary nebula. Who was the first American to orbit the Earth? John Glenn. What was the name of the NASA space program that came before Apollo? Project Gemini. What was the name of the first United States space program? Project Mercury. What is the name of the large gravitational anomaly pulling our galaxy toward it? The Great Attractor. Who was the first woman to command the International Space Station? Peggy Whitson. What was the name of the first satellite launched by China? Dongfang Hong-1. What was the name of the NASA mission that deliberately crashed into an asteroid? The DART mission. What is the name of the European Southern Observatory's large telescope array in Chile? The Very Large Telescope. What is the name of the first woman to complete a spacewalk? Svetlana Savitskaya. What is the name of the first space probe to fly by Mercury? is the name of the point in the moon's orbit when it is closest to Earth? Perigee. What is the name of the point in the moon's orbit when it is farthest from Earth? Apogee. What are the temporary dark, cool spots on the surface of the sun? Sunspots. What is a sudden, intense burst of radiation from the sun's surface? A solar flare. What is the name of India's mission that landed near the moon's south pole in 2023? Chandrayaan-3. What is the famous constellation in the southern hemisphere used for navigation? The Southern Cross. What is the name of the red supergiant star in the constellation Orion? Betelgeuse. What is the name of the very first module of the International Space Station? Soraya. What is the name of Japan's National Space Agency? JAXA. What is the name of the popular meteor shower that peaks every August? The Perseids. What is the term for light stretching to redder wavelengths as an object moves away? Redshift. What is the name of the maximum mass a white dwarf star can have before collapsing? The Chandrasekhar limit. What was the name of the first non-human primate launched into space? Albert II. What is the name of Russia's National Space Agency? Roscosmos. What is the term for when two planets appear close together in the sky? A conjunction. What is the term for when a planet is on the opposite side of Earth from the Sun? Opposition. What is the name of the Russian spacecraft used for decades to transport crews? Soyuz. What is the name of Pluto's largest moon? Charon. What is a stable point in space where the gravity of two large bodies balances? A Lagrangian point. What was the name of the giant radio telescope in Puerto Rico that collapsed in 2020? The Arecibo Observatory. What is the name of the NASA spacecraft designed to fly into the sun's corona? The Parker Solar Probe. What is the W-shaped constellation in the northern sky? Cassiopeia. What is the name of the joint European and Japanese mission scheduled to enter Mercury orbit in November 2026? Bepi Colombo. What is the name of China's current permanent space station? Tiangong. What is the bright red star in the constellation Scorpius? Antares. What is the name of the first spacecraft to orbit a comet? Rosetta. What is the name of the first spacecraft to land on an asteroid? Shoemaker. Who was the first Israeli astronaut? Elon Ramon. Which planet in our solar system has a large hexagonal storm at its north pole? Saturn. What is the name of the famous gas and dust structure in the Eagle Nebula? The Pillars of Creation. What was the wow signal? A strong radio signal from space. Who developed the 3 laws of planetary motion? Johannes Kepler. What is the name of the first spacecraft to use an interplanetary gravity assist maneuver? Mariner 10. What is the term for a star that suddenly and rapidly increases in brightness? A nova. What is the name of the nearest open star cluster to Earth? The Hyades. What is the common name for the star cluster known as the Pleiades? The Seven Sisters. What is the name of the vast, nearly empty region of space called the Great Void? The Bode's Void. What two astronauts conducted the first all-female spacewalk? Christina Koch and Jessica Meir. What is the name of the main Russian service module of the ISS? Zvezda. What is the name of the European laboratory module on the ISS? Columbus. What is the name of the Japanese laboratory module on the ISS? Kibo. Who was the first person to fly in space twice? Gus Grissom. What was the name of the Mars mission that used airbags to land its rover? Mars Pathfinder. What is the name of the brightest quasar in our night sky? C273. What is the term for the apparent shift in a star's position due to Earth's orbit? Stellar parallax. Who was the first person to discover moons orbiting another planet? Galileo Galilei. What is the unit of distance equal to the average distance from Earth to the Sun? An astronomical unit. What was the LGM-1 signal? first pulsar ever discovered? What was the name of the first crewed spacecraft to orbit the moon? Apollo 8. What is the name of the first asteroid discovered after Ceres? Pallas. What is the name of the supermassive black hole at the center of our Milky Way galaxy? Sagittarius A. Who was the first Indian citizen to travel to space? Rakesh Sharma. What is the name of the mission that first landed a probe on the far side of the moon? Chang'e 4. What is the scientific term for the study of the origin and evolution of the universe? Cosmology. Who was the first African American woman to travel to space? Mae Jemison. What is the name of the European satellite navigation system? Galileo. What is the name of Russia's satellite navigation system? GLONASS. What is the name of China's satellite navigation system? Beidou. What is the name of the comet that broke apart and collided with Jupiter in 1994? Shoemaker Levy 9. What is the name of the brightest asteroid that can be seen from Earth? Vesta. What is the name of the second largest dwarf planet in our solar system? Eris. What is the name of the third asteroid ever discovered? Juno. Who was the first American to eat food in space? John Glenn. What is the name of the first spacecraft to fly by two planets, Venus and Mercury? is the term for the true intrinsic brightness of a star? Absolute magnitude. What is the term for how bright a star appears from Earth? Apparent magnitude. What was the name of the first spacecraft to successfully orbit Mars? Mariner 9. What was the name of the first human-made object to impact the surface of Mars? Mars 2. Who was the first woman to pilot a space shuttle? Eileen Collins. What is the name of the brightest globular cluster in the Milky Way? Omega Centauri. What is the name of the main U.S. launch facility in Florida? Kennedy Space Center. What is the name of the primary Russian space launch facility? Baikonur Cosmodrome. What is the name of the closest known black hole to Earth? Gaia BH1. Who was the first Muslim to travel to space? Sultan bin Salman Al Saud. What was the name of the first U.S. spacecraft to orbit the moon? Lunar Orbiter 1. And with that, our quiz for tonight is complete.